Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Reiners, currently the Chief Growth Officer at Parasol Alliance. My background is I've helped start two companies over the last, 13 years or so, both leading to successful exits, and have been dedicated the last 8 years or so to senior living. I currently live in Syracuse, New York, happily married, and I've got a 3-year-old. And those are my most important jobs, being a girl dad and a husband. But really excited about senior living. I've been in that for about 8 or 9 years now, and really trying to transform the technology culture within it. So what's inspired my current path? So coming out of college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was essentially a telemarketer making $150 per day. I was approached by my best friend, best man at my wedding, kid I grew up with, Jake, to help start a company that was helping people around the country do silent disco events. We started that, and if you don't know what a silent disco is, imagine a room full of people dancing to no out loud music, and everything is being played through wireless headphones. A few years into it, a few things happened simultaneously. We started getting phone calls from senior living communities. I saw what my grandmother was going through. She couldn't hear, so she wouldn't participate in anything. And Jake and I, not really knowing any better, just started walking into senior living communities in upstate New York. And some of the first demos, like, we'd see staff crying, residents coming up and thanking us, and family members trying to buy the system. And that really grew us to grow a company called Eversound, which we led to about 1,500 communities before getting acquired by Uniguest in May of 2023. I hung around Uniguest for about a year or so, but it was called to a bigger calling, which was try to change the technology culture within senior living. Kind of around the industry and kind of all these different tech vendors, everybody seemed to be struggling with the same thing. And I think if you're living right, it's a laggard when it comes to technology adoption. So, my vision has changed to try and go above that and try and help people and change this technology culture, whether it's through education, inspiration, or just making sure that people are seeing a proper ROI on their technology initiatives. Oh, I love this question about defining personal and professional success. And balancing the two. So I think balance is tough. I look at it as more of a blend. And I would say in the personal and the professional side. And of course, this is outside some of the core essentials for setting up my family for success. But it's always been my goal in life, in business, and anything. If two strangers were to come across each other, make the connection that they both had some level of friendship or standing of who I was, that they were able to connect and say that I was a good person. I try to do what's right for people. Of course, we all stumble at times, but ultimately at the end of the day, I think we're remembered by our relationships and the good that we put out into the world. And if I'm able to inspire and help others and help provide some hope, or even just be a little bit more vulnerable and share my story and some of my own struggles and help raise my fellow person, what's more successful than that, right? So I'm in the senior living industry, and if you're in the senior living industry, I think the general public, probably close to 90% of people, when they think of senior living, they think of that 70s view of what a nursing home is, something that smells bad, and it's probably more on the clinical side. And where I really think of some of these misconceptions, right, it's just what we see in media, whether it's movies or television. But how do we really challenge them? So I run a podcast. I think we're up to about 120 episodes now, just interviewing awesome leaders in the space and all the really cool stuff that they're doing. But I think too, it's just to open up dialogue, right? And open up conversations with people that might not have that opinion and try to help educate them of what this can look like. And then I find a lot of kids, college kids, not really sure where they want to go in life. I'm 35 now. I still have no idea what I want to be when I get older. I still feel like I'm 12 years old at times. But really trying to show them that our industry is basically, I like to think about it as business with soul, right? Like, you can really do any aspect of business. And at the end of the day, if you're improving quality of life for other people, that's really what it's all about. And if we can continue to put that front and center and share some of these stories that are amazing stories, some of the wisdom from these communities, I think we can try to change the narrative when it comes to aging. So growing two startups, granted it was not all me, there was a whole team behind it, so I definitely cannot take any credit for that, but every day felt like there was new challenges or setbacks. And I think my view on them over time has matured. I would say early on, right, it was kind of like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, and that nothing will ever be the same, and it was just terrible. But I think as I've gotten older and I've started watching more of these movies with my 3-year-old, what I've really started to embrace comes from the movie Frozen 2. And I won't sing to you, I promise that. But it's just this idea of what's the next right step. So whenever I've come across a challenge or a setback, I've really started to embrace this of like, what's the next thing that we can do? Because one of the things I always try to remind myself too, and remind those around me, is you can only control what you can control, right? And the only thing I can do is how I react to something and what I do next. So there could be a million things to do, but if I can just take that next best step to put something, whether it's in my favor or my company's favor or the people around me's favor, I find that's really, at the end of the day, all we can really do. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I apologize in advance. I definitely post at a nauseating amount. I'll be the first to admit that. But what I want to share is just about this new opportunity that I'm currently working at. So I'm working for a company called Parasol Alliance, and I truly believe they're one of the best kept secrets within senior living. We are a third-party managed services provider and IT consultant, which I know that's just kind of the mumbo jumbo you have to say, but really, we're changing the face of technology within senior living. Whether it's all the culture and leadership awards that we've won, which is up to 28 now, we like to think we're the happiest IT company out there. And when you're working with a service provider, right, if the employees aren't happy, if the team you're working with isn't happy, it's going to be a direct reflection in those that you work with. So I'm so excited to be here as their chief growth officer. Still trying to figure out what the chief growth officer actually does. I wish it was growing my hair, but hey, you can't win them all. But I just think if you're in anything technology, right, we're really trying to change the technology culture. See, technology is the future, if not the present, and whatever we can do to inch forward every single day, whether we're adopting it more and really just making sure that we're successful with it, seeing the ROI, seeing the integrations. I think it's in a really unique spot that it is the future and we need to embrace it today, or the future is going to be looking very different. So Parasol Alliance, check out, we've got a podcast there called Raising Tech. Podcast that I run is called Connecting the Dots. I'm sure you've seen my posts if you're connected on LinkedIn, but thank you for listening to me a little bit more, and appreciate you.